how do you build rapport with someone very fast? This is something that I have mastered, and it's the easiest thing in the world for me to build rapport. And the reason why is because I've done it so many times. Mastery is just about repetition. So I'm going to share with you the things that I do to build rapport with someone very fast. So the first thing I do when I meet someone is I smile, right? Straight away, that's money in the bank for the relationship, because it's for me, it's something that I just done since I was a kid. I looked at my photos when I was a little baby, and I've always been smiling, like just always smiling. But that's just like, when I smile, when you smile at someone, they want to smile back, and it creates good feelings straight away, right? So that's a big thing that you can easily implement right now, and just start noticing the difference in people's reactions. Like when you smile at someone, they want to smile back, and just do it literally after this video, and you'll notice that this is true. And that builds rapport, because they feel like, oh, this person's like me. People like people who are like themselves, or who are like how they want to be, okay? And so when you smile, that communicates in the subconscious mind, oh, this person's like me. They may not even think that consciously, but it's all happening in the back of their mind, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is to find commonality, right? So when you're doing the whole small talk thing, you want to find a commonality real quick, okay? Because what that does is it makes the person feel at ease and comfortable, right? Like, oh, let's say you ask someone, where are you from? They say, Canada. Oh, cool. Canada is like a pretty cool place. Like, I've been there before, whatever. If you've been to Canada, you can start talking about that. Or you can talk about something that you know about the city, something that you know about their place. Because that's going to build that connection, right? Because one of the things, the worst thing to do is, let's say we role play. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from London. Oh, cool. And then just go and talk about something else. There's no connection there. How does that feel when that happens to you? Oh, cool. And then you just talk about something else. The feeling that the other person receives, I don't know about you, but for me, when someone does that to me, which has happened before, I just feel like, this person doesn't give a shit about me. What do they want from me? And that's the alarm bell that's ringing in my mind. So if you don't want to set off that alarm bell, just don't do that, right? Simple. Like ask them more about it, or if you have something to share that's in common, share that with them. The worst one is when people say, oh yeah, my sister went to London, or like, my friend's from London too. It's like, don't really care. Don't really care if your friend's from London. But if you've been to London, for example, I've been to London. Oh, cool. Where'd you stay? Oh, I stayed in Canary Wharf. Oh, nice, man. That's a nice area. So now we're connecting, right? Or if you know someone who stayed there and you know something cool about London, and you ask them a question like, oh, is it true that people from London do this and this and this? Now you're connecting, right? Because you're connecting over a shared interest. So that's how you build rapport very fast, like super quick. And also like the physical touch aspect of connecting with someone new is, if you find some commonality, let's say, where are you from? Oh, I'm from, I don't know, he's from America, but he likes watching soccer, right? He likes watching Manchester United. I support Manchester United. That's going to piss some people off, I know. But I support Manchester United, right? So this American guy has just found out that I support Manchester United, and he likes watching English soccer. So I could high five him, right? Some physical contact there. Oh, high five, bro. Like I do this with women all the time. It's like, it's a natural icebreaker that helps you connect more very instantly. Okay, so it's building rapport. That's how you do it. You find a commonality with them. That's really important. That's what I'm always looking for, that, because I always want to find out how this person is like me. How are we like-minded? Because people don't want to spend time with people that they're not like, right? So find that ASAP, and that's going to build instant likability. And smile. Okay, and ask them questions about where they're from. Be curious about them as well. So that's another thing. It's like building rapport is like being curious about them. And that's just something, again, that's one of my gifts, is being curious. That's why I do a podcast, because I'm just naturally curious about people and, why they are the way they are and what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. I'm not always like that, but most of the time I am, right? There's some days where I'm like, I just want to be alone, which is normal. And there's some days where, most days I'm just like, I want to know about you. Like, what's going on? Like the other day, I just asked my cleaner, I was just asking her, if you could go anywhere in the world, like she's never left Bali, right? She's always been in Bali. If you could go anywhere in the world, money was no object, where would you go? Just a random question that I thought of, but I'm just so curious, right? And the process of being curious with people is that you're naturally likable. Like I'm not thinking, oh, I should ask her this question because that will help her like me more. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm just curious about what she would say. Like I wonder about it. Like where would she go if she could go anywhere in the world? Like how much does she know of the world? Like, and her answer was Switzerland, and I was like, oh wow, Switzerland, interesting. Tell me more. So I'm just naturally curious, and I know there's some people watching because I know this from doing lots of content and reading comments that there's some people watching this video right now who are putting up barriers to what I just said.
Oh, but I'm not curious. I don't really care about people, so why would I do?
First of all, you wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't. And second of all, that's just shutting down opportunities, right? Like, oh, I'm not curious. Well, how can I get curious? Because when you shut down your mind doesn't open to other possibilities. So rather than say, like, for example, I can't afford it, how can I afford it? Like Robert Kiyosaki says, right? How can I afford it? It's like, how can I become more curious, right? If you're not curious, how can I become more curious? How can I care? How can I genuinely care about what this person's saying right now? And there's another video I've done. It's called How to Genuinely Care About People. If you go and type that in on YouTube, you'll find it. And it's one of my most viewed videos. And it's one of my best videos too, because I talk about that. Like, how do you genuinely care about other people? But that's another topic, right? But building rapport is very, very easy once you know how. Most people don't know how, which is why most people don't make new friends, because they don't know how to connect with anyone anywhere. And I'm going to do another video on how to connect with anyone anywhere, because that is the number one skill, I think. I don't need to know anything about anything. If I know how to connect with someone, anyone, anywhere, anytime, that is the number one skill. Because other people have the knowledge, have the resources, all the stuff that I want. The only skill that I have is I know how to connect with anyone, anywhere, anytime. And it's the easiest thing in the world for me. And that skill gets you everything you want in life. It's that simple. Of course, there's different levels, right? Depends on what you want, though. Like, that's it. How to connect with anyone, anywhere, anytime. And if you want to know how to do that, like in more detail, go ahead and book your free call below this video, and we can get on the phone and talk about this in more depth, because of course connecting is like the first step, right? But then how do you continue that relationship so it's both mutually beneficial and the relationship doesn't die out? Like a lot of people tell me like,
oh yeah, I met this guy, it was super cool, but the relationship just kind of like died out.
And they don't know why, right? Well, there's lots of reasons why. And again, another videos, I've got so much content to make about this, but if you want to learn how to do this stuff and master communicating, because that to me is the number one skill in life, is communication, right? Knowing how to communicate with people. And I'm also always learning, but I'm super passionate about it. Like 10 years ago, I did not speak like this on camera. I couldn't do one take, and now it's the routine. That's how I'm used to, just doing one take. And the growth that has happened as a result of, I never really noticed that I was really good at connecting until one of my friends pointed it out. And he's like, bro, you're really good at this stuff. Like, you really understand people and what's going on, like social dynamics, like you can read body language, all this stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah. And he was asking me questions, and I was like, oh, yeah, because you did that and that and that and that. That's why he doesn't do that and that and that. That's why he's not replying to you. That's why he doesn't like you. And he's like, wow, I never knew any of this stuff. So if you want help with this and, becoming a person of influence, someone who can influence others in a positive way, comes back to how you are with people. And I found that the blocks, I think everyone has this ability, but there's emotional blocks. Like some people have anger towards people, and that stops them from connecting because of the emotional stuff. So if you don't deal with the emotional stuff, you won't be able to connect effectively with people. It's like doing work, right? Like sometimes, like before in my business, like I'd have emotional blocks to doing the work. Like, oh fuck, I don't want to be doing this shit. Oh fuck's sake, I should be further ahead right now. And those thoughts, those emotions would be stopping me from doing the work. It's not the actual work that's the problem. It's just the emotional stuff. Like, if you feel angry towards people, like if you're like, fuck these people, if that's how you feel every day about people, it's going to be hard to connect with people. Simple as that. So you got to deal with those emotional issues first. And this is stuff that I help people with, you know? So if you want to, chat to me about this, about your current situation, what you're going through as it relates to communication skills, relationships, people, let me know and go and click the link below this video, or you can DM me on the Instagram at @TheRealDarko. Either one works, and we can talk. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.